Thumbs up, okay. So we wait. Yes, we do. Dad. Dad. The flood. Who will save our children? No one. That was much more than a hunch. That the truth is somehow born of babies. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Oprah. But I read. Yeah. I can see myself in my glasses if I'm still. Ah, here he is. Okay. Admit. Hello? Hello?
Hey there. How are
Hey,
you?
good. How are you, John?
I'm good. Nice shades.
Thank you. Yeah. Spectacles, testicles, wallets, and watch. How is
What-
it down there?
Well, it's in California and LA in particular. It's a little more stringent than across the rest of the country. The rest of the country is starting to loosen up a little bit,
Yeah.
and you know it's still a little tight here. I mean, we can go shopping for groceries or go to the bank or the hardware stores open. I mean, there's a certain amount of stuff we can do. Beaches and parks and stuff are just beginning to open up a little bit. But I
Mhm.
think people have had enough of being inside, and you know, I have, and I spend inside all the time anyway. But
Yeah.
I want to go out and do some stuff.
Well,
I'm ready.
how's it gonna work without a vaccine then? Do you think it'll be an uptick in cases?
Well, I think if everyone takes good precautions, there won't be. I
Yeah.
think if people wear their masks, I think if people, watch what they touch and then watch what they touch after they've touched that, I think there's ways to kind of mitigate the spread of the virus, and keep contact down a little bit. The problem is the people that are clamoring the most to get out and do stuff, the ones you see protesting here in LA, are the ones not wearing masks. I mean, they're the problem. They're the ones that are going to keep this going. Excuse me.
That's okay.
And that's okay. I'm not sick. And
Okay.
uh, you got to wear a mask now. So yeah, that's they have certain stores have senior hours,
Yeah,
and
same here.
hate to admit it, but I qualify,
Hey, use it,
and
dude.
so we can go in and you know we went shopping this morning, as a matter of fact, and there was like nobody in the store. It was great.
But
Oh,
right outside next door is the liquor store.
ah,
And so what they've done is they put like markers 6 feet across, 6 feet apart, and like the lineup goes all the way down the block.
that's how it is at some of the stores here. Everyone is 6 feet apart, and they're lined up around the corner of the building in some cases to get in.
Yeah.
I think when things open up again, it's going to be just a flood of people going out and doing stuff. They're ready to go out. They're ready to go do things. And
As long as
you know,
people are smart.
well, yes, and the problem is they're not all smart, and those
Really?
are the ones we got to watch out for.
How's Leslie?
She's doing fine. She's out doing a little gardening right now. That's how she keeps sane.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Is she do like what is it she's planting? Flowers?
Well, she's
Hyacinth?
working on. She's got a fountain, a pond thing going right now, and she'll put some lily pads and stuff like that in there.
Oh, neat.
I mean, things are as normal as they can be. I mean, we just do whatever we would normally do at home. So I sit and practice the drums. There's a lot of stuff that we do that really hasn't changed.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
just going shopping for certain things. I mean, I can't really go out to music stores. They're not really open yet. All of my local band things have all dried up because all the bars and restaurants have closed.
Yeah.
So I haven't played in a band since March 10th was my last gig. We're not gigging. I mean, there's nothing going on. So it's one thing to sit home and practice the drums, and it's another thing to go out and play in a band for people, which is really why we do what we do. And I miss that. And it's probably going to be another 4, 6, 8 weeks before we do that.
So tell me about the drum set behind you. It looks cool.
Well, this is, I'll show you one of them.
Okay. Ooh,
This is a limited edition finish for 2020.
nice.
It's called Digital Oyster Black.
Ooh,
and it's a little bit of a takeoff on the classic Ringo drum set from the '60s, which was
nice.
not as pixelated as this, let's say.
Yeah,
But this is a special formula that Ludwig has come up with on the shell. The shell material is different for them,
nice.
and it's maple and cherry wood, and they're really nice sounding drums. And these are the drums I'm going to try and take out on the next tour.
Ooh, nice.
So that's the plan anyway.
What do you look for in drums for playing them?
Well, always sound. Sound is most important.
Yeah.
And after that, I guess appearance. I mean, honestly, from where I sit, I really can't see them anyway. So it's not that important to me how they look, but it's important that they look good to the people that can see them, to the audience. But again, that's kind of secondary. I mean, I wouldn't deliberately get a kit that whose colors clash with life itself. I wouldn't get a lime green kit, for example. That's a bit much, I think. But I just I'm less concerned with the looks because I really can't see them. From where I sit, I'm kind of on top. I really don't see those shells.
Yeah.
So,
Do you like a certain brand over another, or is it like just the sound you go with?
well, it's always the sound, and I find that Ludwig drums have the sound that I like. And I've been playing Ludwig since I started playing back in the '60s. I've always kind of played Ludwig. I've only recently begun to endorse them as a brand, recently, 15 years ago. And but those are the drums I use and have been using on tour for the last almost 15 years.
Yeah.
And I like the sound of those. I prefer the sound of those to most other companies.
Interesting. So what got you into drums?
Well, my brother had taken drum lessons as a child,
Yeah.
and I actually took accordion lessons, of all things.
Interesting.
But there were drums in the house, and he switched to guitar at some point, and I inherited the drums and started taking drum lessons instead. That was in 1965.
Okay.
So I've been playing for 55. I can't count. 55 years.
Math is not my strong suit.
So
What?
that's how I happened upon the drums, and I've just stuck with them ever since.
Did anyone inspire you to get like you heard someone play drums and you're like, oh, that's cool?
Well, I listened to music as a kid, and I mean, my parents had big band albums and Latin music albums, Alan Sherman records actually. So
Oh, okay,
a
Alan.
little bit of comedy background there too. But they had Gene Krupa albums. But
Okay.
at the same time, I was a big fan of the Beatles even before I started playing drums.
You know,
And so Ringo was of course a huge influence. And most of the pop music of the day, Beach Boys and Paul Revere and the Raiders, and that was all stuff that I listened to and emulated. And Hal Blaine, who was a studio drummer who played on a ton of stuff in the '60s and '70s, was a huge influence. I didn't even know that was him at the time, but he was a huge influence to me. And I take everything I hear, I take a little bit from
what about
it.
Gary and the
That
Pacemakers?
makes me up, as a drummer.
Yeah. Gary and the Pacemakers?
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
Love them. A lot of the English groups, which of course Jerry and the Pacemaker, Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas,
Yep.
the Searchers, Rolling Stones, of course. A little later, the Who, Led Zeppelin. Yeah, they all make up a little bit of what became Bermuda as a drummer.
Where did the nickname come from, by the way?
Oh, that was Weird Al gave that to me back when we first met, and it was clear I was going to be playing drums with him. After a couple of months, he decided I should have a goofy nickname. So he didn't want to be the only one, that Weird Al in quotes. So he wanted me to have something I could put in quotes that would be a goofy name, Bermuda, for sounds like Bermuda shorts, right?
Yeah.
But instead it's Bermuda Schwartz, and it stuck. It stuck with me for 40 years now.
That's cool. So, if you could travel anywhere in the world without financial holding you back, where would it be and why?
That's tough because I have some favorite places, but I also have some places I'd like to go.
Okay.
If finances were never a concern,
Yes.
I would, I love London. My wife and I both love London. We love Sydney, Australia. We love Toronto, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
There's I don't know if finances, if money weren't a concern, I might consider going to Japan. I know it's not cheap to visit there. That would be neat to see Tokyo. I wouldn't mind spending more time in Toronto. And we went to Calgary actually not too long ago
Oh,
for a little trip. We both like Canada. We've both been to several of the cities across Canada. It's,
what food do you want to try that you haven't tried?
I don't think there's anything that I haven't tried that I really
Really?
want to. I mean, we've been both of us have been adventurous enough and willing and lucky enough to find everything we've ever wanted to eat. You know, whatever that is. There's some things I know I don't want to eat. Uh,
Like what?
I'm not interested in eating snails, for example.
Oh, yeah,
That
I
just
agree.
that would be, and people swear by it. People say, oh, that's really, if you didn't know it was snails, you would probably love it. Maybe that's true. But I think up here, the fact that I know it's snails, I just I can't do that. There's some vegetables I've learned that I don't really favor that much, like Brussels sprouts. I could take them or leave them, but I prefer to leave them, for example.
Oh, okay.
So cauliflower I don't like. However, I like broccoli. And people say, well, cauliflower is just like white broccoli. I said, no, it's not. It's not the same. So we've made our decisions. There's nothing left to try that I haven't.
Cool. All right, last question. Last question. In your entire career, from the beginning to now, is there something you would want to do over if you could? A song, a take, an instrument, a meeting?
This
on-
interview, maybe this interview. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I can't do this.
Come back. No, please. I'm kidding. I kid. I joke.
I know.
Anything. Let's see. Oh, I know. Yeah, there is something I'd like to do over.
Okay.
I'd like to buy Tesla stock,
Huh?
and I bought Tesla stock when it was $20, which is just, well, that's been years. And I'd like to do that over because I'd like to buy a lot more of it, and I'd like to have hung on to it for a lot longer. I only bought 50 shares.
Oh, that's
And
it?
if I'd had any idea it was going to blow up like it did in just a couple of years after that, I would have gone out and bought a whole lot more, and I'd be rich.
Yeah.
And then I could go to whatever those cities, and money wouldn't be an object.
Well, I should probably take off, sir.
All righty. Well,
Yeah.
good chatting with you.
Yes, same here. But I will talk to you later. Say
Okay.
hi to Leslie.
Okay, I will. Take
All
care.
right. Bye.
Bye-bye.